ahead and call to order here the Town of Fontana Dam Town Council meeting, February 15th. Call to order at 5:36. Looks like we got us a full house today.
We're getting so popular.
Sold tickets out front. Capacity crowd.
All right, I guess before we get into some other stuff, the agenda. Entertaining motions for that if we don't see any adjustments or modifications or corrections or anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the February minutes.
The agenda?
The agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're like, what's moving on?
Yeah, really. Like,
Not messing around.
the minutes for this month that we're just not getting to do the meeting.
All right, so on that note, December minutes. Did we see anything that needed correcting there? I didn't have a chance to look at it before.
I'll make a motion to approve December minutes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public comment here. We've got a couple more folks interested in council. We've got more supply than demand right now, so that's a good thing, all right. So we got Tracy Williams. He's been on the board in the past, a couple different times. I guess welcome to you, man.
Thank you, brother.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Good to see you.
And I guess business is, you got things under control over there, so you feel like you got a little bit extra time.
Yeah, a little bit of time, yeah.
Cool, man.
Good deal. Anything you want to say to the council? I mean, looks a little different than before. I'm trying to remember what it
It's a
looked
little
like
bigger.
Yeah.
A little different.
with you. We brought Lacey on to, she's kind of our finance person, she signs off on all the checks and, Zell bothers her on a regular basis, I think.
So bothersome.
So bothersome.
And I can't remember, was Tiff on when you?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No, it was literally just you and Tracy. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is gone. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's, we've had a lot of folks in and out lately, with COVID and leaving and whatnot. I think it was John, and then Brandon kind of came and went, and we've had,
Louise.
yeah, Louise.
Louise, yep.
I forgot about Louise, I know.
John was in for a long time.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, John was, he was probably one of the longer tenured folks, aside from maybe me.
I actually had somebody stop me in Ingles parking lot and say, "Why do you guys have such a big turnover there? Are you guys okay?" I'm like, "Oh, well, it's just the nature of the beast. It's a resort, you know what I mean?" And so, yeah, people move off and they go away. So, it was kind of an interesting question. Like, I never really thought about it before, but.
Yeah, it's definitely different than, say, Robbinsville or even Santee.
Right.
Each one's kind of its own unique animal, so. All right, and then we've got Carolyn here. We talked, I guess, at our Christmas party about potential interest, and she expressed interest, so welcome to you. I guess we've had sickness and people being out of town and everything else, so we're finally getting around to just having a discussion about, we've got one open seat at the moment, and we've got to, I guess, have a discussion amongst us council people, how we want to proceed with that. So welcome to both you guys. I guess this is probably the time to, you think, to go ahead and let you guys just maybe introduce yourselves for those who don't know you, and maybe just briefly talk about, what you'd hope to contribute and learn, and just, why the interest, I suppose. So Carolyn, if you want to go ahead. Or...
Okay. I'm Caroline Vasquez. I'm 31 years old. I'm a member of the EBCI, and I've been living here for over 2 years now. And I've been on the ALC before, which is Juvenile Leadership Council, and I took a very interest in I could contribute to this and learn, get to know you guys, this place, and help it expand.
All right. You definitely would bring a slightly different perspective than what we've had, for sure. So there's definitely, we'll get into our discussion amongst ourselves here after a while and just kind of talk about, you know, I think this is, it's almost unprecedented.
Yeah, I know, it's like overwhelming.
Normally it's like, okay, who can we find?
Hey, you, come here just a minute. Hey, you, come here just a minute.
I know, right?
Stopping them on the street.
Now we have a bit of competition.
You have options,
for,
yes.
For an open slot here, so that's,
I did not have to go through this process.
I know. Please, Lacey, please come, please come.
Lacey was not
and
ready.
Tracy, I guess, maybe you introduce yourself for those that don't know you.
Okay, because I don't think you know Rachel.
Yeah, my name is Tracy Williams. I've been working off and on here for 27 years, basically. I started out as a gardener, 27 years.
Did you really? I didn't know that.
I don't think I knew him.
Yeah, I was
That's
a
cool.
garbage guy.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
You know, fresh out of Atlanta, all that kind of stuff. But I've been trying to make Fontana itself great for years, off and on. I had worked here 27 years. So I got wind that maybe this place might be changing. And I said, well, I got time. So I would like a front row seat at it. And, you know, I've been on the council, so.
Yeah, you've been on a couple of times.
Probably total 5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, in total.
and you headed up some things for us over, I guess, with the sanitation. That was kind of one of the roles that you kind of filled.
Which never did really go anywhere, and I think that was because of COVID though, but you
Yeah.
know, that kind of got shut down. But we have done some changes over here to make that a little bit better, because we started putting a garbage bin back in behind where laundry and all that, so that would help, not, you know, we fill that up first before we use the one up at the heights, so that helped a lot with that.
And Tracy also had a background, you know, a lot of the mountain biking that we have here, I think he helped, or may have even been directly responsible for that culture, or primarily responsible for that culture here as far as races and just
Yeah, it
in
was
general.
big in the late 90s.
Renting bikes, servicing bikes, you know, for how long would you say that culture kind of existed here?
It was a while. It lasted even after I left. So I'd say at least 8 years, somewhere in there. Had an outfitter store up in where the rec colony is.
So
Started
probably towards,
this Through Biker Show. I did that.
probably towards the, I guess maybe the transition from Pepper Tree to the, that's
Yeah, it
kind of
was
when the
during
culture
Pepper Tree.
shifted.
Yeah, it was during Pepper Tree, and then
What year was that?
98.
Oh, wow.
Starting about 97.
I said junior in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the pictures that you see.
Yeah, to start with all the
Yeah, I think
bikes lined
you
up.
were,
Yeah.
That's what I'm like, well, I like to see that. That's what I like.
We had it here for sure. And
That'd be so cool.
I'm sure because we said the icicle. I'm sure the pandemic.
Yeah,
We started that in 98.
yeah, the promoter said he's not doing it anymore.
It was a big race.
Yeah.
Somebody want to
Feel
take
that
the helm.
void,
You
you
can
know.
get a lot of people. I can teach you how to do it. Put it on, but.
So,
Exercise.
Yeah.
ideally, we would like to get to where we had some of that mountain bike culture, in my opinion, as a personal thing, as well as a town interest. I mean, I'm a mountain biker, I haven't really been riding as much as I'd like.
I haven't either.
One thing that this place does kind of have that's maybe unique that we've talked about in the past was, you know, in mountain biking right now, there's kind of a movement towards power assist, or e-bikes, I suppose, and it's kind of a highly debated topic, especially
Oh, yeah.
certain land use areas allow it, some prohibit it, some don't specifically address it. I think we would probably be in that latter category there. You know, it's kind of I don't know, I guess there could be some issues if we were really to explore it, perhaps.
Forest Service law says no motorized vehicles. The Park Service changed theirs to where you're now allowed anywhere there's a bike, you can have a motorized e-bike as well, as long as it's a level 1 or 2. And level 3 means you can go up to 30 miles an hour, so nobody wants a 30-mile-an-hour bike on a bike path, you know. And those are more or less like low-level mopeds, motorcycles anyway. So that's the legal weirdness that the law is starting to address at this point. But as far as allowing e-bikes, that's pretty much up to each private individual, and if you're operating on a private permit, then you can make it your own rule. So,
Even if you're on Forest Service,
like
properties.
Fire Mountain is class 1 only, so you can't have a thumb throttle or a throttle twist throttle or anything, it's only pedal assist only. Here we should have like any, as long as it's not like a, you know, you could come up with your own policy pretty much. 'Cause it's-
So let me ask you a question. If you were to have a race, a bicycle race,
Right.
I mean, and somebody
No
showed up
e-bikes
with an
on
e-bike.
roads. No, that's not allowed, no.
Okay. I was gonna say, that would be kind of an unfair advantage, wouldn't it?
there could be a class one day for, you know,
They already have them
X
around.
amount of
Yeah, they do
power,
have them.
Yeah, they do have them.
X amount of battery capacity or whatever, I don't
Yeah.
exactly know what would,
Yeah.
what's the power rating for class one or,
Class 1 only means it can pedal assist only with no throttle, and it has a maximum speed of 20 miles an hour.
okay. So
Class
the
2
power of the motor is not really addressed in that rating.
Right, because you can limit it. That's why you can buy something and go into the programming and change it, and all of a
Adjust it.
sudden, like the electric XPs that we have, right? I can change those and make them go to like 28 miles an hour, which is way too
Yeah.
dangerously fast. So I've got unlimited right now at 29 miles an hour is the max speed on it, which makes it like a level 1 kind of bike. So those things can get dangerous really quickly, you know?
So, and for those of you that, I'm not sure if you were
I'm
here
not
last time or
telling
if you've talked to Schwab.
I did.
He's also expressed interest and he was here last meeting.
Certification to be able to operate chainsaws recertified this Saturday, so that'll be good. On top of that, I've been involved in like 3 times now.
And you've worked here how long now?
This will be my 3rd year. Well, code, is that half a year? We got laid off. I came back as soon as they said, hey, come back.
Right.
It was like from March until August we got laid off though.
So Swan's a candidate too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's kind of unprecedented with the level of interest that we've got here. Where normally
Yeah,
we're
I mean, I
scrambling.
want to get involved in something like focus my time and energy on, so I definitely have that, you know. Luckily.
And there's also music, I think,
Well, the music background that I have, I make banjos. I don't know if y'all know that or not. I've got Grant Custom Banjos on my website, and I've been to quite a few festivals, and it's kind of an understatement. I was on a stage crew for a couple of years. I was a stage manager for a year at Lakeview Arts Festival, and I've been really involved in music for many, many years. I don't know how to elaborate without going off too much on a tangent.
well, but you got some connections in the industry, I guess you can just
Oh,
kind
totally.
of say that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So that there's definitely some pluses there for sure.
Yeah, like I'm really excited. I'm gonna go see. I don't know if anybody's heard of them, or if you've not, then look up Billy Strings. You're gonna love them. Anyways, playing at Duck Watson, picking Jamathon down in Winston-Salem, doing the bluegrass and old time music. Cool. Like I know everybody here is just jumping at the bits to hear, right? Right, especially the.
The Graham Star did a feature story on him a couple of years ago. I'm just going to throw that cheap plug out there too.
Really?
Well, yeah. Charlie came in and talked to you.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I thought you were talking about Billy Strings.
No, I'm talking
Like,
about
his
you.
story,
Yeah.
Billy Strings.
Yeah, did a story on you. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Absolutely.
I guess,
They can either stay for the meeting until we go into closed session, or when we make a decision, I will contact, however you guys want to do. I don't want to tie you up if you want to.
So I also wanted to throw that out there, like whether or not I am or am not chosen, I just want to be more involved in where I live, my community and things like that. And so I'll probably still attend meetings and put in whatever input I can do without being too annoying or anything. I just want to help, I don't want to hinder anything, so.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess, like you said, you guys are welcome to stay for the meeting and kind of go through, I don't think we've got a lot to get going to before we get to a closed session. So, you know, it's kind of your choice if you want to stick around or for a bit, or if you want to take off. Let's see. So we got through that. All right, so moving on to our discussion items here. We'll do water, wastewater update.
Well, Carrie says that we are still pumping about 10 hours a day, 160,000 gallons, and we're losing about 18 feet a night. So From the time they shut down pumping until somebody comes back in the next day. Have no clue where that water's going. Everybody's looked, Dennis has looked, Jeff has looked, people all over the village has looked. I mean, we know where some leaks are, but not to be losing that amount, you know, so.
18 feet, you said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 18
Jeez
feet.
almighty, okay.
Losing about 18 feet a
And they're
night.
not even filling the pool or anything, you know?
Mm-mm.
Right, oh my
No, we
goodness.
really hoped that when we put them in the pool, that it would like make a big difference. And I mean, everything's feeling good. The pressure's staying up. It's filling up well, you know, because we lost pressure there and it wasn't filling there for a while. We found that and fixed it. So the pressure's staying up. The water's going up fine, but it's just leaking out during the course of the night. And it's during slow season, so
I was
there's,
gonna say, can you only imagine when we start picking
Yeah.
up?
yeah,
Although we've kind of noticed that
it stays about the
things
same.
haven't really, you know, we don't see a drastic, huge shift in that, which tells me, at least, or my theory is, whatever leak we've got going on, it's more significant than our usage, or the difference in our usage. So I think we're gonna have to probably, unless we can tap into a different analysis mechanism, I think we're gonna have to almost start, at some point, once we figure out what's going on with the new lessees and what their plan is, we're gonna have to coordinate with them to possibly go into sections once we have some funding and just basically, repair, replace a whole section at a time. Kinda like what we did down here. I don't know if you had heard, the pool, or where the old pool was.
Right.
So that section that goes off from the road out to the marina, last year, we had so much loss down there, we suspected, we ended up replacing that line from the road over to the bathhouse.
Oh, I'd say so.
Or the,
Well, they did it first, so it was real
the
good.
bathroom, not, so replaced that, took off a lot of those leads that were coming off of that line, and that had a pretty significant effect. I think, didn't we estimate we dropped from about 75% loss
Yeah.
to
down about
roughly
60.
62% loss? So it was significant,
Yeah.
but not.
Well, at that, it put us down from like 14 hours a day to like 9 hours a day, but now we're back
Right.
up to like 10 hours a day of
Well,
operating.
and then what happened is when we had that hard freeze, we had a lot of leaks that showed themselves after that hard freeze. And we were whack-a-mole in that for probably 2-3 weeks.
Well,
Even at my cabin, it busted and was broken outside my cabin.
Yeah, I mean, that did a lot. I mean, I've seen, a lot of vegetation. I don't know if it's gonna come back from it. That was a very significant freeze.
Yeah, it definitely
But
was.
I think the problem is we can't really do anything unilaterally on developing a plan, and we're kind of still in limbo on where we might be with a new lessee group coming in. So that's the next domino, and then we can start talking, okay, timeframes.
How much money is the town losing?
What
Like treating water, treating
Wow.
water, wasting.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
very, well, if we're at
that's-
65% water loss, that's treated water.
Yeah, whether it's chemicals, whether it's man hours,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
So that money can be turned into some kind of.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, once we, and I think the thinking is that the only real way to address it, if you can't analyze it and find it before you get in there, you're just gonna have to start cracking and getting in there. And the problem is, you get into a valve, you wanna turn a section off.
Yeah, you turn it
If
off,
the
you
valve
might get
breaks,
back on, yeah.
you're out of luck, buddy.
That's true.
Well, and then also though, we have put in a grant with ARC to replace all of our water lines. And it's a CDBG grant, and Fontana Ventures, which is these new people that they was to come in and take over, will be putting up the match. So that's in the works right now.
So that could get us down the road. I don't know
Yeah.
that it would get us all the way down the road, but it would get us a ways.
Way down the road anyway, yeah.
So,
So that would be significant, because it's like, I wanna say $1.7 million or something like that altogether, yeah.
like what, 3/4 or 800 apiece or thereabouts.
I don't know, one was $1 million. and
Ventures
one
was
was
$1 million.
Listen, well, it was, we applied to ARC for $1 million, and I think theirs was like 7 or
Oh,
something
that's
like that,
right.
yeah.
That's right. They came in a
Yeah.
little below what we
Yeah.
anticipated.
So You know, because that water line going to the pool is huge, so that may be where the problems are, the bigger water line.
Well, I don't know, but I've been looking through a lot of old
Instead of
pictures,
little.
for our history thing that we're, magazine that we're doing, and, you know, the amount of housing and stuff like that was across the road and all up in there and all up in here. I mean, and that's never really had anything finalized with where those lines are still in the ground. I doubt if they were ever really cared for properly when it was dismantled. You know.
There's a lot of potential possibilities for leaks. I know there's been talk of the line goes on down towards the dam. There's been talk of a leak that was down there, but I thought they identified it and fixed it at one point.
Yeah, that one that was off in the woods, way off down in
Right.
there. Yes, I got that bit. That was wasn't that a busted valve or not valve, but
It's a pressure valve, wasn't it?
yeah, it was a pressure valve. Yeah.
So anyway, we're trying to develop plans, but it's certainly gonna coincide with other plans. So trying to align everything right now, I think, is the challenge.
And we're trying to also find new valves that might be more weatherproof, you know, so that we can put them in key places. And at least if water, like all of a sudden our water loss has become like, you know, that we can isolate and do some checks.
So
Because those
exposed-
water valves aren't as expensive.
exposed water valves.
Yeah. So, yeah, that we can put them in place and be able to cut places off so we can see if it's in this area, you know, not, okay, we'll turn that back on and go to the next area. I mean, and maybe even, well, and to get some meters, you know, to see.
That's been a topic is
That'd be good.
Yeah.
installing some valves in key locations and installing some meters in some key locations would help us analyze. You know, we can cut a section off for a little while. You can kind of see what your production is. If you see it go way down, then you obviously have a leak on that particular area. Same with metering. You can get an idea for the unit flow you got going through a particular area too. So, but I think the concern is if you dig into an old existing line, you know, and you start trying to install something like that on a brittle pipe that's old, and I mean, you don't really know what you're gonna get till you get it.
But if we got new lines coming in, that would be a good time to try to implement some of this then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And then further, you know, we switched all of the chemical tanks from the bottom feeders to the top feeders. So everything down there now is coming out the top. We don't have all that chemical sitting on there eroding all of that and having leaks. It works great. Ken Street has all the pumps calibrated. It's going to the motherboard, so we're able to keep track of everything that's going on. So that was a good investment. It was, you know, it was a little expensive to switch over. Barrels were pretty expensive, but it was worth it in the long run because those other ones, you know, from the time that we opened the plant and started using it, they were all leaking already, you know, so, but that's because all the chemicals set right on, so,
That was a point of discussion, I think.
when we were building it, yeah.
But I think it was gonna be the additional cost, and we were having to value engineer everything.
Yeah.
And it was just unfortunate.
And I think McGill was bound to determine that Don Price was not gonna be right.
Well, there was some internal politicking there as well.
And then, one other thing, Dennis, I talked with him today, we have the pumps in, there's two pumps in one, the clarifier that got rebuilt, right? Neither pump is working now, so he can't pump sludge. But there's two pumps on the other side that doesn't work at all, and the pumps do work. The clarifier doesn't work, but the pumps are working. They weigh about 500 pounds apiece, so he's going to get a hold of Jeff or somebody tomorrow. And if we can get somebody down there to help, then he's going to switch the pumps from that side over to the side that is working, so that right now we can't pump sludge. So at this point in time, it's not that big of a deal because we're not moving a lot of sludge at the moment. you
Nobody
know.
there.
Low flow, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So we also are gonna, though, I think Brandon got somebody new, a Postel, I think. He said, I think, I'll find out for you. You don't talk to him, but Bob had went up to like $800 a trip, so
That's what triggered.
No,
that's what he said to me. Like,
he was $550.
well, this guy that is doing is like $450. I thought he said that Kenny went up to like, he went up like a significant amount of money, and
He was charging $300 a pump out, but they weren't even breaking even because they had to drive all the way out here, get it, and then they can only dispose in Cherokee.
But now I did tell him that they could dispose here.
Which he said then he would renegotiate his prices down,
Yeah.
but Brandon never
Oh,
And I heard there was some other discussion about some other customers in the area as well, that it may not make a difference because he was still gonna have to carry that.
Oh
back.
yeah, he was gonna have to go over
Yeah, Deal's Gap or thereabouts, right?
Weimer's, whatever
Yeah.
that is over there, yeah.
So, and we weren't gonna necessarily be.
I'm
cool
not saying
with them
Brandon
about
maybe didn't
that.
pursue it, I just wasn't in
Yeah.
Right,
that
I got you.
conversation. He might have very well had that conversation. I don't wanna speak out of turn, I don't know.
Right, I don't really know, I just know that, but even if that, this guy said that his rates would be, consistent, and, I think it's $4.50 is, each time it comes out, and in summer months, that's twice a week that he'd have to
As
come.
long as he
And I told him that, the guy has to come when Dennis is at the plant, because we have to have somebody there, and there isn't an an unrealistic expectation that you need to have an operator there at that plant when you're dumping, you know, so,
If he agrees to that, then
Yeah,
that's
that-
our own
yeah.
stipulation.
yeah, and,
Well, it's good that he saved money though.
yeah, that'd be helpful, so. Anyway, that's all I have for water and wastewater.
All right, thank you, Zoe.
Mhm.
Any questions from anybody on that? Okay. Moving to financials.
All right, in general fund, we have $176,773.94. In our utility fund, we have $49,617.36 for a total of $226,391.30. Tracy, we have separated out our utility fund. We created another fund instead of putting it under our general fund.
Awesome.
So that we're able to monitor it better. We actually, when we had this guy that was working here, Jason, before, when they tore down the old water plant, the people that tore it down used our wastewater plant to put the sludge from there in the water, and we got like, how much was that? $20-some thousand for that. So we use that to open this account, and then we keep putting all the water bill money goes in there, so that it's all for because it's restricted to water and wastewater.
We had an account left over, I think, too, from, was it electrical or was it water plant? That we just utilized, we kind of
One water plant, but it might have been the electrical. I'm not
we
sure.
had one that was already in place, we didn't want to close it, and we were talking about adding another account, so, we like doing that, so, it just makes things a little bit easier and cleaner from an account.
And just clear, for people to look at audits and stuff like that, the state and all those people. So we still though are under the state treasurer's thumb. We can't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're answerable to them every year. We have to call them and present our budget to them before I even present it to council, and go through the whole 9 yards.
But we're generally in a much better spot, having a nice cushion than where we were even
It sounds
2 or
like
3 years ago.
Right.
We were sweating 2 or 3 years ago whenever everything went down. Now we feel pretty good about things.
Yeah, a lot better anyway. Of course, you're still just one catastrophe away, right?
Oh, it's not
Glass is half empty.
Right.
How do you feel with the money now coming out of the people's checks?
Well, I haven't had the chance to really appreciate it that much yet, but yes, that's gonna be so much easier. It's gonna streamline everything so much. And yeah, we still have about 5 different people, I think, that needs to switch over, that have got to get caught up, and then everything will be good after that, yeah. And then when we start hiring again, we'll just
That'll
automatically be in, but I just have to make sure that, I don't think we're gonna give them, we shouldn't give them the option, it'll just be,
I'll put it in with their
Yeah.
packet, their lease when they decide they're gonna, their rental agreement.
right, and then you can just send me a copy of that, and
Yeah.
then that way I'll have it on record too, and that way hopefully we'll never have the problems that we've had here with it, so. I think, and the way that I sent the bill to you at the end there, does that work for you?
Yep.
That gives you good enough record for everything?
And honestly, I couldn't imagine anybody having a problem with it.
No,
it's
no,
convenient.
well, I mean, but I know like Craig doesn't want to go to that.
Really?
No, no, he would rather just go ahead and pay, so, that's fine. The ones that are already here, that's fine, as long as they stay up. But just like what I said in agreement, that, there will be late charges, blah, 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 because you have this option now, so, yeah.
You said something about pre-tax, which I really didn't.
Well, like a lot of times you can have like a 401k
Yeah,
contribution,
but if he's just gonna, it doesn't matter if he's going to have it, if it's taxed, because he's still just gonna pay it out of the same account that's already been taxed.
Well,
You
but
see
I
what
think
I'm saying?
I see what you said, but I think what he was thinking is like if it's taken out of his paycheck at first, that money wouldn't be taxed and counted towards his payroll, so
I don't think
maybe,
it's
I don't
going to be
know.
like that before taxes.
You can't, but my whole thinking was, it doesn't, even if they are
Well,
taxing
and how much is
money-
$50 really?
Interest wise,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even if they were taxing that money,
yeah.
it doesn't matter, because when you write that check, that money's already been taxed.
Exactly.
Right.
So it doesn't matter either, I
It's
didn't
post
understand.
tax.
Yeah.
Post tax both ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I, so I didn't understand that,
It's,
but,
it's 6 1/2 dozen.
exactly.
But
Just
you
so
know,
I'm
Craig,
not the
he,
only
I
one
It's
mean,
who
just
thinks that.
easier that way.
We're
Yeah.
just used to doing
but
it.
Craig, he stays
It's
on
not
it,
like
so.
medical, is it? I mean,
No,
I didn't think so.
no,
No.
it's,
Not even
I'm glad I'm
close.
not the only one thinking that way, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
yeah, it's like, look at Craig, he sees me up at it, so, he hands me a check and it's all good. So,
All great.
yeah.
All right. Any questions about
I'm
financials?
glad it's coming out of the,
Hmm?
I'm glad it's coming out of the check.
Yeah, I know.
I am too.
That makes things a whole lot easier.
Well, what about, I mean, it's kind of, I was talking about financials, but the water, I was just wondering, like, there's a couple of spots where I was wondering, like, who do I inform if I think it might be a leak under there?
Just let me know and I will.
Tell her she'll pass it to
Yeah, I'll pass it
Dennis, and he's
All
got, there's actually a little test kit he's given me that I've got in my truck. I don't have it
Do
on
you
me
like
right
poke it
now.
on the ground, see if it's flowing?
Well, what you do
I've got
is
one in here.
you scoop a sample and then you put a little drop or two of this stuff in it, and if it turns a certain color, that
You know,
tells
it's
you
treated.
there's the presence. Yeah, it's
Right,
treated.
right, gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
It doesn't
I think
turn
I have
color.
one here, actually,
Cool.
in my office, so
Well,
we can always check it.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
test it. I'll come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, cool. There's a couple of spots where I'm like, this seems sinky or like sinkhole,
Yeah.
like it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
like
is it a
that.
natural spring because it's been very wet, or
Fontana
is
means
it
fountain of
another
spring.
leak?
Yeah, I know, but here it's always hard to tell.
All right.
Especially after it rained. I remember when we were playing disc golf once and it was like flowing out like a running spring. And Rob's like, no, just wait a couple days, it's probably just a spring. And it was.
Yeah.
I'm used to which ones are which. If I see something I hadn't seen before, that's when I go, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so budget amendment.
Okay, so if you look on the last 2 pages of your packet there, it's the budget. And Will May's and I've been working on this for a couple of days because I wanted to get an honest update of where we were at. I wanted it last month, but everything was just crazy and chaotic. So anyway, we haven't got all of the revenue inputted into there, but we did get most of January's expenses in. And where we stand at, and we had to do a budget amendment so that we're supposed to keep everything balanced as closely as possible throughout the year on the budget. So they give us the authority to make changes there, but then I always like to present it to the board and have Rob sign off on it, just so everybody's on the same page, So, and it's going to be an interesting in looking at the year coming up too, and we might have to do a budget workshop just so we can all sit down and figure out what's going on. So anyway, to start off with, we didn't have on here the professional services is for when it's for a lawyer when we need him. It's for when we have an election. It's for well, it used to be for when we had the consultant, but we don't have him anymore. So that money, though, is used for a lot of different professional reasons there. When we have an election, it's usually, what was it last year? Gosh, was it $4,000?
Yeah,
I think it's about $4,000 that comes out of that.
Keeps
So every other year, we are on a 2-year cycle. I'm trying to get us moved to a 4-year cycle, but it seems to be impossible to do. But anyway, so I moved, we had, starting out, we had the let's see, 12,231.73. I moved to working events. That was because of our Christmas party and everything. $759. That left $11,471 in there. And then the working events is at 0. And I think that probably working functions events shows on there. And then we had a small amount left over that we had for property and liability and workman's comp. One was $33 more than we budgeted. One was $24 more. I moved that out of the education and certification into administrative expenses, which left, let's see, $543 in there and zeroed out those two. I took, gas is gonna be, that's the big thing, because gas is doubled, tripled than what we budgeted for. And that was what had me concerned about our budget anyway, and wanting to get, bottom line look at it. So I moved out of professional services, let's see, 800 lesser amount. So we only use that like if we haul the recyclable or the trailer over the mountain, so.
And it's our backup and it's our
Yeah.
snowplow and it's kind of our more utility type
Yeah.
truck as opposed to our
Yeah.
workhorse trash truck.
Yeah,
Although there for a while.
It was
our
everything.
workhorse trash truck.
yeah, it was everything.
The others don't count.
So then, because we had to get new the work truck, that we had to have all that work done on it, remember?
$4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, so I moved from the general maintenance department supplies. I moved $500 out of there to make that match up and zero out. Let's see, it left. Actually, when I moved 500 out, we still owed $392.80, so I took that out professional services again to zero out that amount that we owed on that, and that left us in professional services with $10,278.97. All right, now the big one is over here on the sanitation side. That is where most of our gas is spent out, because that's where he's picking up trash and stuff out of. So we were in the hole quite a bit. I moved $9,830 out of that, which leaves us $448.93 in professional services, and gives us $9,000 for the rest of the year in gas on that truck. And I'm hoping that'll make it. That's going to be January, February, March, April, May, June, 6 months. That's going to be tough.
So did we underestimate the usage? Was it?
We underestimated the cost of gas and how much it went
So
over.
cost of gas has come down though.
Yeah, but not to what it was when we made this budget.
Really?
Yeah, it was a lot cheaper then.
What are we paying over there?
Oh my God, it's like what is it for unleaded?
I paid $4 a gallon today,
$4?
right down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, $4 a gallon for unleaded.
They're making the town pay for retail?
No, yeah.
Well, you're saying in Robbinsville.
No, I'm saying at the pit stop.
He's saying over here,
Yeah.
yeah.
I filled up over here today.
Is the wholesale agreement or not?
Yeah.
Have you thought about getting your own gas?
Well, we might have to talk about that because I think gas over in Robbinsville is what, about $3?
It's $3.29, $3.39 over in Robbinsville right now,
You
yeah.
can set up with a gas company.
Sure.
We get the same price.
We may have to talk about long-term.
Yeah.
Because it kind of jumped up on us
Same as what
this
state
year,
employees got.
but, I mean, that's pretty,
Like the DOT.
what I'd like to do
That's a lot of
is,
money.
I'd like to see.
Well, we
what our-
can see,
What's our
when-
delta?
at the end of this budget, we will look and see how much gas cost us as opposed to last year. But it is significant, because it jumped, well, gosh, it went up to, at one time down there,
It was close to $5.
It was at
yeah,
5. I remember being
$5
at
and
5,
something. It was
yeah.
over $5.
I remember that, yeah.
Was it? Because I didn't think it was more than 5.
No, I think it was,
Or was it over
yeah.
higher than 6?
No, I stopped to get some,
Well-
I'm like, I'll just get a couple of gallons. Get
Yeah.
Then they had to do something to game it because it couldn't go up and over, like they had to
Upgrade or
I
something?
forget what they had to do exactly to get around that limitation. But anyway, we gotta definitely maybe talk about that in our next budget cycle. We gotta kinda see
Yes,
What we-
that's another one of those
what we
things.
can, what are some options here?
I'm pretty sure that VW grant money also has a section in it to buy new trucks that are more efficient than your old trucks. and you get reimbursed for that.
Right.
So that might be something to check into as far as like, I guess, better gas mileage or whatever.
And negotiate the gas price maybe.
Well, that's,
I mean, 10 cents a gallon saves a lot of money.
and that's, so we maybe need to, we have to get an idea.
What did they pay, did they pay the full price for, the, resort trucks? Is it charged at that cost too? Is it?
Yeah, there's no.
Amazing.
The
gas bill.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
So, the only thing I didn't balance out was utility funds, because that's a wash anyway, because that all gets, billed back to the resort. So,
It'd be full every night. You have-
at the end of the year, or right now, where we stand, let me see if I can remember how that worked. I think we have spent $99,885, and we still have $61,972. When Willie Mae and I talked about this, we had if we continue with everything, we get all the money we're supposed to coming in, and everything, as we budget it, we should, at the end of the year, have about $20,000 left in our budget. So, if we can roll that much over, now, that's a big deal, but, that's still, I was like, well, that's good, $20,000, that's great. And that's in general fund expenses, that's not sanitation, that's not included, or utility, that's not included in that, so.
I don't know if you noticed, but the occupancy was so low. Did you notice
I
that?
did notice that, yeah.
Them having that lodge closed down for that, it significantly impacted that.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Occupancy was only like 300 and, was it 300?
300 and something, yeah.
Yeah.
For January.
Yeah, it was
I've never seen it that low before.
That's scraping the bottom, that's for sure.
It definitely is.
That really killed us having that lodge, and
Yeah.
they still can't have people really in it because they're still waiting for that final part to come in to
I
get.
think
So
that
they're still
icicle
opening
race
it?
also was in January. It's not much, but it's still a little bit of boost when you get it.
They won't be able to, they have to keep that lodge unoccupied because as soon as those other parts come out, they're gonna have to shut it down for like another 2 weeks.
What's the ETA on that?
Last week.
Just throwing it.
Lost in
It's supposed to
transit.
be completed by the end of January. And then they had a back order on a part, and now it was hopefully by the end of February. It could go into March though.
Okay.
Well, that's like the check valves we had ordered. They were supposed to be here in December, and now it's March.
Then you know where to pull.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
and that's when you get
mentioned
into your fund balance.
On that
Yeah, exactly.
occupancy thing was because it's probably gonna impact probably the next 2 months again.
Yeah, but that's for TDA, so that's a better,
That won't matter.
that won't matter here. Yeah, that won't matter with this one. That will up there for that, but, we have we have over 100,000 in our TDA fund, so.
No, that's good.
So,
everybody's itching to spend that if and when we get it.
yeah, I know, right? Like,
So while we're on it, I will entertain a motion, if we don't have any other questions on the budget amendment, I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
I entertain a motion to approve the budget amendment.
Thank you for making that motion. All in favor? Stick around the table here. Can I reach everybody?
It's just 'cause I'm starving. I'm just starving.
All you're missing is the powdered wig. That's all he needs. He
I've
just needs
got
a
a
big
little
wig,
bit,
yeah.
I got back of chips out there I can feed you too.
All right, so you have.
So the upcoming budget, first of all, just real quick, we need to set we need to either, I don't know, it could just be you and I, then I could present it at the next one, because our budget has to be completed by June 30th, so we got time. But I think it's gonna take a little bit more hammering now, so either you and I need to get together.
I think you and I will.
And get it started?
We'll end up on the first draft, and then we'll present it, at least a draft to the council, from there, whether it's, I guess maybe April. I think we definitely need to present a draft by April.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Work through it by May, and then we can have it ready to, because we've got submit it to the LGC too. They're.
Yeah, I think I need to present it to them actually by May. a
So we
second
gotta
May.
find out when that is. Even if it's not formally adopted by the town council, if it's a pretty good draft, we can send it to them.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not too concerned about it. We just gotta identify where we had a lot of movement of money, in the amendments. Let's go
And the
around
biggest thing is
introduce the
definitely
shit.
the gas, yeah, so,
Okay. So employee review.
oh yeah, because this month marks my 8th year, people. Yee-hee. But we also gotta talk about David too. So I had him down and then for some reason I erased it because I was thinking, well, he actually, November was his permanent hire, full-time hire date. So we didn't really talk about him then,
So
so,
can we put that on the schedule for next month?
well, we can just do it in closed session though.
Okay.
And, I mean, it has to go in closed session anyway. And I know she has to go, but, is he here or you're,
I think you just, drove up.
You did?
But I mean,
Okay.
I'll be back in an hour. Between-
yeah, no, I don't think we'll go that long, but,
You never know.
yeah.
I know.
I'm
So-
really shooting on the table by then, maybe.
So yeah. So do we need a motion to go into closed
Yes,
session
we
now?
do.
All right.
Somebody needs to
I
do that.
propose a motion to go into closed session.
All in favor?
Aye.
I propose a motion to come out of closed session.
Thank
Aye.
you, Lacey. All in favor? All right. We're out of closed session there. We had a discussion about personnel. And so I think we're gonna have a couple of additional action items. Let's see, the first was going to be with regard to David, with regard to a proposal for a raise and a bonus. So I'd entertain a motion for that at this time.
I propose a motion to approve a raise for David of $1 and a $250 bonus to be given out now, and also a $250 bonus to be given out at Christmas time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right on. Thank you so much for that, Lacey.
That's
We,
helpful.
that's in appreciation for David's hard work
8th year of service.
for this, for 8 years of service. That's loyalty, that's dedication. All right, and we're gonna have one more action item regarding a town council person. Just to make that.
You can make that motion. Okay, I propose a motion to add Joshua Grant to the town council, the board,
The open seat.
for the open seat.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much for that, Lacey. So I think the way we're gonna do it there, Kevin, is, since he's not here now, we're gonna swear him in next meeting.
Sure.
And we'll kind of go through those formalities there at the next meeting. And I don't think we have anything else to discuss. I think we're going to probably be going into closed session again to discuss Zellery's review on next meeting.
Okay.
So with that, if we don't have anything else from you guys, we're gonna adjourn at 7:32.
What